Hi, my name is Jim Neeley. I am a resident of Bloomington, Illinois. I've been out of the state for about 40 years, returned recently. I graduated from Illinois State University with a major in political science and a minor in art. The work that I created for this show is 11 pieces that I did specifically for this exhibition. They are three-dimensional canvases, if you will, all of uniform size. I call them maquettes because they're like little architectural models of what I perceive and what I see when I'm in the farmland and in the country of McLean County. So there's a lot of references to silos and barns and corn cribs and fields and the repetition of fields, but all of this has been kind of boiled down to its kind of purest form and essence. I actually coined a word for it. I call it agritecture because it includes these elements of agriculture and also of architecture, and sometimes these simple utilitarian structures are so beautiful and so pure in their form that it creates this kind of great looking geometry that I have been really inspired by. I think that the way I've chosen to present this show, these rural agritecture pieces, these canvases, these maquettes, is very close to the, I'm displaying them not on walls, not hung on walls, but on just sort of floating up off the floor on some very low, almost like a runway sort of thing. And as I say, there's 11 uniform pieces. So the pieces are designed for the viewer to walk beside this table and look down, once again, kind of recalling what that bird's eye view of these things are. So I think that engagement makes this a rather unique kind of experience for a guest to the gallery. And these pieces, and I hope that you'll come and see them, I think there's this engagement for the viewer that you get out there in the country and there's kind of some really interesting, crazy things that you run across. So in some of my pieces for this show, there's some real pathos and some real mystery about things. Like one of the pieces that I'm showing is sort of the ruin of a house. It just shows the foundation walls, it shows a chimney, and then there's clearly been this indication there's been a fire there, so it's all just collapsed. But I think when I'm out in the country, I'll drive by a farmhouse that looks like somebody just locked the door on it 50 years ago and walked away, and it triggers something in me. It's like, who does this belong to, and why is this house, you know, sad, and why is nobody there? And it just starts to sort of raise these questions for me. I'm also kind of amused by people's priorities in the country, and you'll see very modest little farmhouses with these enormous dishes sitting, you know, television dishes sitting right in the front yard. It's like, you know, who would do that? But, you know, it's just different priorities. So you'll see some of that. Some of the pieces are more clusters and repetition of silos and things like that. So there's, you know, a little bit of everything there, but I do think that, you know, some of the pieces that the folks who come and see the show, I think it will, I hope it will stimulate some thinking on their part, just to say, you know, I've seen that, or that I have a recollection of that, and, you know, raise this kind of some thinking and wondering about these things you see out there. In addition to these 11 pieces, I'm also exhibiting 4 pieces that I call drawers, and mostly I call them organized drawers because they are quirky, strange, unrelated objects that I assemble in a very geometric way and create these little interiors of drawers that I actually fabricate drawers and use antique hardware on them, and then just add these quirky elements. And like all of my work, all of the color and a lot of the detail is sort of swept away because I prime these things, I gesso them, I layer them up with plaster and paint. So really what's left is just the pure shape and form of these objects in the drawer. And they've been very popular with folks and collectors, and I've sold quite a few of them as well. I mean, for a while I was just shooting kind of horizons and with no buildings in them, just because when I first moved back here I was very, as much as I hated the monotony of McLean County when I grew up here, when I moved back here, I was blown away by just the scale and the majesty of all of this very flat land. And I think you have to step away from it to really come back and appreciate how beautiful Illinois and this kind of flatness is. There's something really, as I say, majestic about it.